the Empire at its peak. The Rykar Empire ruled 32 star systems with an iron fist wrapped in fire. Their warships were works of terrifying beauty, long, tapered vessels of crimson alloy, crowned with ion disruptor arrays and antimatter torpedo banks. They moved through space like predators, unhurried and absolute. No civilization in the known galaxy had managed to put a single scratch on a Rykar hull in over 3 centuries. Supreme Admiral Marin Voss stood at the command throne of his flagship, the Sovereign Blade, his tall frame rigid with the particular arrogance that only 300 years of uncontested dominance could produce. His pale violet eyes swept across the tactical display, a holographic map of the Duras system, where a small coalition of Pohari resistance ships had made the catastrophic decision to defend their homeworld. 41 resistance vessels, outdated ion drives, pulse cannons that couldn't pierce Rykar shielding on a good day. "They actually came out to fight," said his aide, Commander Siebel, with barely concealed amusement. "Desperation," Voss replied coldly. "Open fire. I want this finished before the third moon rises." The Sovereign Blade and its fleet of 50 warships advanced in perfect formation, a wall of crimson death sweeping toward the ragged resistance line. The Pohari ships held their position, trembling but unbroken. Voss almost respected that. Almost. He raised his hand to give the final order. And then every sensor on the bridge screamed at once. The Decloaked. "Admiral." The sensor officer's voice cracked like thin ice. I'm reading a mass signature. Directly behind our formation. It wasn't there a second ago. It wasn't there. Location," Voss snapped. "Grid 7. Dead center of our rear flank. Sir, the size readings, they can't be right. I'm recalibrating. Put it on screen." The main view screen flickered, shifted, resolved. The bridge went silent. It appeared from nothing. One moment empty space, the next, a ship so large it seemed to bend the stars behind it. Rectangular, brutal, and ancient-looking in the way that only things built for pure function ever look. Its hull was the color of dark iron, plated in thick overlapping armor that bore the scars of battles across decades. Along its entire length, weapon systems were already cycling to active status. Electromagnetic rail cannons, missile tubes, point defense grids, and something along the dorsal spine that hummed with an energy signature Voss had never seen in any database. It had been there the whole time. Invisible. Waiting. Stamped across its bow in letters large enough to read from 50 kilometers. Unscraved silence. Terran stealth battleship. "Terran," Commander Siebel whispered, as though saying the word too loudly might provoke it. Voss gripped the arms of his command throne. Terrans. He had read the intelligence reports. A species from a single unremarkable star system, barely a century and a half into deep space travel. Young. Biological. Prone to chaos and emotion. The Rykar Intelligence Division had classified them as a developing curiosity, not a threat. Someone in the Intelligence Division was going to answer for that. The voice of Captain Alara Voss. A communication request came through, not on a standard channel. On the Rykar command frequency. Encrypted. Internal. A channel no outside force should have even known existed. Voss accepted it, his jaw tight. The face on screen was a woman, human, early 40s, with dark hair pulled back severely, and eyes the color of deep water. She wore a black uniform with no decorations except a single silver pin at her collar shaped like the Earth's crescent horizon seen from orbit. She looked at Voss with the calm patience of someone who had already decided how this conversation would end. "Admiral Voss," she said. "I'm Captain Alara Voss. No relation, I assume." The faintest pull of a smile. I've been sitting behind your fleet for 6 hours. I've had targeting locks on your top 14 vessels since hour 2. She tilted her head slightly. I watched you threaten the Pohari. I'm here to suggest you reconsider. You are one ship. Boss snarled. Yes, she agreed simply. I am. She didn't elaborate. She didn't need to. Because at that moment, the Grave Silence fired a single rail cannon round, not at the Rykar fleet, at an asteroid 300,000 kilometers to port. The rock, nearly 2 kilometers wide, split cleanly in half and drifted apart in absolute silence. A demonstration. Cold, precise, and utterly without anger, Voss stared at the drifting asteroid halves. His hands were no longer steady on the throne. You have 2 minutes to reverse course, Admiral, Captain Voss said. I've been patient for 6 hours. I won't be patient for much longer. The scream. What happened next was not recorded in any official Rykar military log. But every officer on the bridge of the Sovereign Blade witnessed Supreme Admiral Marin Voss, conqueror of 9 systems, undefeated in 30 years of command, the most feared flag officer in the Empire, push himself from his throne, grip the edge of the tactical console, and release a sound that was not an order, not a battle cry, but something far more human than any Rykar would ever admit. He screamed. Not from rage. From the sudden, stomach-dropping realization that the galaxy had just changed shape around him, and the Rykar Empire, all 32 systems, all 3 centuries of dominance, had just become the smaller thing in the room. Reverse course, he said, when the sound had left him. His voice was hollow. All ships! Reverse course now! The Crimson Fleet turned. Slowly. Shamefully. Behind them, the Grave Silence held its position without firing a single additional shot, its engines running at idle, its cloaking systems powering back down as if to say, we have nothing left to hide. The Pohari Resistance Fleet watched in stunned silence as the most powerful empire in the known galaxy retreated from a single ship that had never even raised its shields. Captain Alara Voss closed the channel, leaned back in her command chair, and spoke quietly to her bridge crew. Log it, she said, and send a copy to Rykar High Command. Let them know we have 17 warships just like this one. She paused. We don't. But they don't know that. In the years that followed, the Rykar Empire never again entered Pohari space. The name, Grave Silence, was quietly removed from Rykar intelligence databases, not because they forgot it, but because some things are too unsettling to keep on record. The Terrans never corrected the number 17.